Hello, good morning, students. So, once again, we are back into the classroom to listen more about the forest and the wildlife and how to preserve them, how to protect them, and how to make them survive, and so on. So, the other day, in the last class, we learned about the different conservation methods that the government has taken in order to protect and preserve the various species that are found on the earth. So we found some of the big species like tiger, lion, black buck, and so they are becoming extinct. Slowly they are disappearing from the earth. And government has started that project under the Wildlife Act. So hunting is forbidden, the business is forbidden. All that government has taken the steps in order to protect and preserve these species. And we may think that government is worried about only the big species. Not so. Government is also worried about every species that is found. So we find that the act that government has passed, the Wildlife Act that was passed in 1980, we see government has named specifically which are the animals, which are the plants, which are the species that are included in the protected species. So anyone trying to kill them or harm them or eliminate them, they will be found guilty. They will be punished under the law. So we find that there are even small insects, even they are finding in this conservation planning. So even small insect, we may think, oh, what is the use? Nobody knows about this insect. We may think that, but government has recognized their service to this biodiversity. If that insect is not there, then earth becomes so much less poor. So in order to enrich the earth, even that small insect is required, and therefore government has included even this small insects into the list that needs to be conserved. And so in the year 1986, government also included several hundreds of butterflies. Even butterflies that is just flying around, we find that they may be living only for a few days, but they are a very precious species. Therefore, government has included them also into this list that needs to be protected. And in 1991, for the first time, plants were also added to the list. So it was in 1991 that government included into the list of species that need to be protected. The plants were also included. Some plants we thought it is simply ordinary, common. There is no need of any special care for them. That was our thinking. But government realized that some of the tree plants are also getting extinct. They are also in the list of endangered species. Therefore, government included them also into this and try to bring them under protection and so on. And so, government has taken some steps in order to protect these species. And now, let us see about the types of forests. We said we have forests are there in order to protect the animals, where the animals will have their habitat and so on. So different types of forests are there in our country, and let us see which are the different types of forests. So before that, we can see in your textbook page number 20, you will see a newspaper report about a bird called gharial on the brink. So the birds, they are getting extinct. You can read that and you can see how it is affecting or what is the cause behind all that. Then we will find there are three types of forests. Three types of forests are there. And let's see. So even if we want to conserve our vast forests and wildlife resources, it is rather difficult to manage, control and regulate them. So in India, because of the land features, it is not that easy to conserve the forest or control or manage, regulate and so on. It has got a lot of complications are there. And in India, much of its forests and wildlife resources are either owned or managed by the government through the forest department or the government departments. So the entire forest in the country or majority of the forest areas, they are owned by the government. Government is the owner of the forest. So therefore no private person can go and cut down the tree and occupy the land and say this is my land. Then you are stealing the government's land and government will take action against you and they will come and remove you from there and they will take away the land. So the forests, most of them are owned by the government, and some of the forest lands they are not just owned by the government but they are managed by the government. And we know government has got a lot of offices are there, forest officers who are supposed to look after the forest, supposed to regulate the activities in the forest and so on. So they are called, there is a department called forest department and lot of officers are appointed there and it is their duty, their responsibility to take care of this forest and protect the wildlife they are living in the forest and so on. So we can divide this forest into three categories, into three types. So first one is called reserve. First one is called reserve forest land. A reserve forest land. And second one will be protected forest land. So let us see first the reserve forest land. What is reserve forest land? So more than half of the total forest land has been declared a reserve forest land. So if you take the total forest land that are available in India, more than half, that means let's say 50%. The 50% of the forest land in India belong to this category, reserve forest land. They are reserved. You cannot go inside for any activity. You cannot cut dry wood. You cannot go for collecting fruits, all those. They are completely reserved. We have no access to it. So reserve forest lands are regarded as most valuable as far as the conservation of forests and wildlife resources are concerned. So these forests that are called reserve forests, they are the most valuable forests in the country. So they are protected, reserved, and there is no other activities are taken care. So these forests, the animals can have their habitat and nobody will disturb them. So they are reserve forest land. So among all the forest lands, the reserve forest land is the most important forest land in our country, and it comes to around 50% of the total forest is considered or declared as reserve forest land. Now second group is called protected forest land. Protected forest land. So almost 1/3 of the total forest area is protected forest. So this comes around more than half. That means just say that's 50. Then protected forest comes to 1/3 of the total forest. What is 1/3 of the total? So it will come around let's say 33 percentage. 33 is 1/3, isn't it? So total now already 83 percentage already. Reserve forest will come to 50 percentage, and the protected forest will come to around 33 percentage, and it is declared by the forest department. The forest department will declare that this is a protected area, so unwanted activities will not be permitted there. And these forest land are protected from any further depletion. So the government or the forest department takes care that this area is protected, so that it will be taken care from being depleted. So the trees that are there, the animals that are there, they will not be destroyed or they will not be attacked. So government gives protection to these forests, the trees that are growing there. Then the third type of forest is unclassed. Unclassed forest. So the rest of the forest, so what is not belonging to here, these two groups, the rest will be here. So what will be the rest left out? Already 50 plus 33, 83 percentage already. Then how much is left? Just 17 percentage. So the rest of the forest will come under unclassed forest. So unclassed forest, let's see what it is. So these are other forests and wastelands belonging to both government and private individuals and communities. So this unclassed forest, some of the area belongs to the government, some of the area belongs to the community, some of them belong to private individual and so on. So where the trees are growing, they are not protected. Anybody has got access to it. So though some area belongs to the government, some area belongs to the community. For example, let us say the hills in the northeast. A lot of northeast hills are covered with different type of trees, and so we can call it as unclassed forest. So there is no police protection is there. There is no the forest department coming and checking anybody is going for hunting or guiding or anybody is cutting tree or not. So there is no such restrictions are there. And some of them belongs to the village. The forest belongs to the village. So only people of that village will be allowed to cut trees from there or do hunting there and so on. So these belongs to different people, and some of them belongs to private individuals. So people, some are allowed to buy one hill, so the trees may be there that belongs to him and so on. So these are the three types of forest. So most of the trees that are found or the forests that are found in the northeast, that will fall under unclassed groups. So reserve and protected forests are also referred to as permanent forest estates. So these two type of forests, they have another name is there, that is permanent. That is called permanent forest, and it is maintained for the purpose of producing timber and other forest produce. So this permanent forest, that is reserved and protected, they are meant for producing timber, not for the people to go and cut timber, but it is meant for government and for the protective reasons. So government takes extra care appointing officers to make sure that these forests remain permanent. So they are not simply going and cutting trees there. Only if there is a need, government will cut the trees. And Madhya Pradesh has a large stretched area under permanent forest. So in all the states in India, we will find this permanent forest or reserve or protected forest in Madhya Pradesh. So almost 75% of its total forest area has gone under Madhya Pradesh. So Madhya Pradesh, out of the total forest, it has got 75%. That means 3/4 of the total forest falls under permanent forest in Madhya Pradesh. So only just 25% belongs to unclassed. So that is the greatness of Madhya Pradesh. They have kept all their forests as almost 75% of their forest is kept as permanent forest. Then there are other states like Jammu and Kashmir, Andhra Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal and Maharashtra. They also have got large percentages of reserve forest of its total forest areas. So apart from Madhya Pradesh, which are the other states that also have got very large area under permanent forest? That is Jammu and Kashmir is there. They have a lot of permanent forests are there. Then Andhra Pradesh also has got, Uttarakhand also has got, Kerala also has got, Tamil Nadu also has got, West Bengal also has got. So all these states, they have got large area under the reserve forest or the protected forest. So we have so many states are there in India, and out of this only 5 or 6 states have got large areas of reserve forest. All other states, they are not taking care of the forest and so on. Let's see which are those states. So Bihar, Haryana, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Odisha and Rajasthan, they have got a bulk of it under protected forest. So these states, they have protected forest. Before what we said was reserve forest. Those 6 states, they have got it under reserve forest. And other states like Bihar, Haryana, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, and so they have their large areas of under protected forest. Then all northeastern states and parts of Gujarat have very high percentage of their forests as unclassed forests managed by the local communities. So some of the states like, which are the states? All northeastern states and Gujarat, some parts of Gujarat, they also have got this third type of forest. Large area is under unclassed forest. That means government is not protecting them. It is protected by the community, or it is protected by the local people, or it is protected by the individuals, the real owner themselves. So that is how the forests are divided across the country. Some states have got more reserve forests, some states have got more protected forests, and some states have got more unclassed forests. So whatever it may be, we need to take care that forests are preserved and to becomes a good habitat for wild animals and so on. Otherwise we don't care for it, and at the end we will have no forest. The land will become very dry to turn out to be another desert region, and we are going to be the sufferers in the future. So in order to avoid that, the government is making the people aware about it, and government themselves itself is trying to do some great things by creating forest department, by appointing officials and making law for the country, so that nobody will engross these forests and destroy it and destroy the animals and so on. So everyone will be encouraged to increase the area of this reserve forest, protected forest and unclassed forest, so that the ecology, the biodiversity will increase, and people will be able to live a more comfortable life in this earth. So that is what we are exhorted, we are encouraged to do it. So I hope everyone will try your level best, because you have already understood about the importance of wildlife and the natural vegetation, and we should not just sit and watch how it is getting displaced or getting destroyed. Instead, we must try to block them, and we must encourage them and teach them about the responsibility of each one about protecting the natural environment. So we shall wind up for today. In the next class, we will learn about how the community is involved in conservation of the forest and the wildlife. So till we meet the next day, bye. Thank you.